Hey guys, welcome to week 4 of the Credit Confident Challenge. Sorry, Confident Credit Challenge. And I'm excited that you are here for this week's session. This week is one of the paramounts of what you need to do to make sure you maintain your credit, and it's called consistency. So we've already talked about control. We've already talked about the mindset, which is confidence. So we talked about confidence being the mindset. We talked about clarity, which is when you gain clarity on you know how to read your credit report. And then we also talked about control, and then looking at understanding the different things that go into your credit. And now we're talking about clarity. Now we're talking about consistency. And this is building the small habits that are gonna have you maintaining your credit once you get it at a good place. So, excuse me. And it's a game changer. Consistency is the foundation for building habits that don't just improve your credit score. They help you save money on everyday expenses like car and homeowners insurance. So let's dive into what you'll learn this week so you can put it into action. So in week 4 in the video, we covered a few essential topics. Building sustainable credit habits. Monitoring your credit regularly is one of the main things that we talk about, monitoring your credit so you know what's going on. You can't have your head in the dirt and expect to know what's going on. So a monitor that we use that we trust, Credit Dyno, will be in the notes under the video that we have for this week. You'll also get a link to the DIY credit repair, which has monitoring and AI credit repair together. So the first one is Credit Dyno. That'll be $30 a month, but the monitoring and the credit repair is $50 a month. So Credit Dyno is the one that's 30. Dispute Beast is the one that's 50. So there'll be links to both of them. And if you need one or the other, then you can click the link below and click the link below the video that's in the app, and you'll be able to see the options for both of those. The next thing we want to do for actionable is keeping your balances low, preferably under 30%, but even better is under 10%. The 30% is, the utilization for your credit cards is the aggregate of all of your credit cards. So it's not just one credit card. It doesn't really make an impact if you go up to 50% on one credit card and you have 10 of them. So, it wouldn't matter all that much. So just making sure you understand that it's an aggregate, like it's across all your cards and not just on one of them. And then the next thing we talk about is paying your bills on time every time to avoid long-lasting effects of late payments. And then we also talk about dates so that we solidify this thing so you can make your payments on time. And we also talk about automation, putting your credit on auto pay. So it's one less thing you have to worry about. And psychologically, what I found out also was that you get anxiety and you get back into a scarcity mindset the more you have to administer payments. Well, I did. Maybe you don't, but I did. The more you have to administer payments, the more you get into a scarcity mindset when you see that money going out. So if it's automatic and you don't see it happening, then there's no anxiety that surrounds that. For me, again. So we get into also statement periods, statement dates, and due dates, and we break down how understanding these can help you manage your credit utilization and avoid fees. So if you pay down your balance before the statement date, you can lower your reported utilization. If you pay off the balance by the due date, you avoid interest. So when they report it is your statement date, and when they charge you is your due date. All right. So that's one thing we talk about as well. And then the next thing we talk about is how it impacts your insurance premiums and things in your everyday life. So your credit score is a factor in determining your car and your homeowner's insurance. They use other things that factor into like the neighborhoods you live in. I've even heard that they that they use things like how many trees are planted in your neighborhood, because the more trees that are planted on the side of the roads, the faster it looks like you're going, and the more you slow down. So you want to just make sure you're looking at the quotes, and you're getting insurance that is compared, and also you use the information that you're learning here to make sure your credit is at the lowest, at the highest possible score, so that you get the lowest possible premium. A quick example is that I'm in Florida, so I'm going to use Florida as an example. Somebody with a 550 score in Florida may pay 4,400, every 6 months on their car insurance, while somebody with a 750 pays closer to 2,400. So that's almost $4,000 in saving over the year. So this week is about creating habits that not only protect your credit, but also put money back in your pocket when it comes to insurance premiums and all of that stuff. So next, consistency matters. Think of building credit like going to the gym. Even though you may feel it the next morning after, as far as like in your muscles, you won't see any changes immediately. But over time, consistent effort leads to incredible results and changes. And the same goes for your credit. Every small step you make, like paying your bills on time or keeping your balances low, it adds up. And over time, these habits create financial freedom, better opportunities, and even lower insurance costs. So here are your action tips for this week and what I want you to do. So find your credit card dates. Look at the last date. Look at the latest credit card statement and identify your statement period. And that's the 30 days. That's when they track your expenses. Then you look at your statement date. That's the last day of the statement period. And then you look at your due date. So when is the least minimum payment due? Statement date would be when your balance is reported to the credit bureaus. So, and then find your due date when at least the minimum payment is due. And then develop a payment strategy from that. So you want to calculate your credit utilization, which, remember, it's across all of your cards, not just one of them. And you want to make the payment before the statement date to lower your reported balance. Then you want to pay off your remaining balance by the due date to avoid interest. And then you want to monitor your progress. Use a credit monitoring tool to track your habits and impact to your score, because that's going to help you solidify this information when you want to tell it to the next generation, or you want to teach the next generation about credit cards. You want to teach your sons, daughters, your cousins, all of that stuff. Nieces, nephews. You want to have a good basis for this. So if you've been doing it, if you've been tracking it, what you're monitoring, you know how it impacts your credit. So not only do you know how it impacts your credit, but you see how it impacts your credit, and then you can tell them those things. So remember, consistency is the secret sauce for long-term success. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. I also want you to research how credit impacts your car and homeowners insurance premiums in your state, because I was using Florida as my state, and some of you probably are in Florida, but your state is different. Like, every state is different, and that's another thing that really we look to standardize, but honestly, it's not standardized. So every state is different. Every state does their own thing. So research that and calculate how improving your credit score could save you money on insurance. So again, and as a final thought, every time you take a small step towards improving your habits, you're building momentum for a brighter financial future. You got this. I can't wait to hear how this week's lesson impacted your journey. Drop a comment below if you have questions, and I'll see you in week 5. And don't forget to leave feedback for how you like the lesson. Once you have the lesson should drop tonight, and then you'll be able to go through that lesson. But I need you guys' feedback when it comes to these lessons, because we're in week 5. We got 2 weeks left. So hopefully this is helping you guys. Hopefully this is getting you to a place of confidence, and you're learning a lot when it comes to credit and learning a lot about your credit. So I will see you next time.